Dude looked like he was about to cry a couple weeks ago.
I knew he was going to be a bust when that picture of him at the draft, and he looked so uncomfortable around like other black dudes. That's when I knew. I was like, oh yeah, this guy. You want this guy in New York? He went to BYU. This is not going to end well. So
Amen.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's another fine day to discuss other people's excellence. I am the unforgettable one himself, Mr. Brett Carroll. Charles is always daydreaming, and we're two guys that like BS and at work. What happened on Sunday with my Steelers was some BS. I knew we were going to lose, but we got our ass kicked. I ain't going to lie to you. That was a good old-fashioned ass whooping. But you know what? I'm fine with it. You know why? It's a game that I already had us losing. We are still on track to possibly win the division. And now, actually, what happened on Sunday, we actually might be able to get in as a wild card, which I didn't think was going to be possible. I thought we were either going to have to sneak in the back door as a division winner or go home. We might be able to get to a wild card. It probably won't be anything better than the 7th seed, which you don't want, because even if you do upset whoever in the first round, you'll have to play the Chiefs all over again. And we just saw what happened with that.
36-10. You didn't say the score. 36-10.
Yeah, 36-10. I don't care. I didn't even watch the game. I was fine because everything else that I needed to happen happened. I wish the Ravens would have beat the Bengals, but that's okay. There's still hope.
Well, the Chiefs didn't even let you guys score in the first half. You guys only put up 10 points the whole game. They put up 13 points in the second half alone. They could have beat you just off the one half.
That's cool. Okay, cool.
I'm just informing the listeners of what game you're talking about for the context.
Yeah, for context, the Giants also got blown out. So I don't know why he's sitting here like trying to throw shade as if it's going to bother me. Point of the matter is,
no. The Giants they didn't even get embarrassed. The Giants are incompetent. You have hopes and dreams and possibilities for the season.
But not for that game. That was a game that I checked off as a loss.
Yeah, well, obviously, anybody that looked at who was playing that day probably said the Chiefs are going to beat the Steelers. But
yeah,
we thought it would be a game.
No, I did not. I had no faith in that. Like I said, I didn't even watch it. I had no faith in that game. I wasn't worried about that game because that game didn't factor into anything that I needed to have happened. The Steelers did what they were supposed to do last week, which was beat the Tennessee Titans. Now they got to beat the Browns and the Ravens. They do that, they have a shot. They'll probably make the wild card. If Cincinnati loses the next two, then we'll win the division. Now, unfortunately, that would also include them losing to the Browns the last week of the season, which I don't think was going to happen. So I was hoping either the Broncos or the Ravens would steal a loss, because I believe they play the Chiefs this week. So they'll probably lose at Arrowhead to the Chiefs. So then it's just a matter of do the Browns somehow pull off a miracle and beat them last game of the season. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. It's all right. It's a division game. Who knows? But Joe Burrow played the best game of his pro career, throwing for over 500 yards, just completely destroying the Ravens for the second time this year. The Bengals are interesting, man. They blew out the Ravens and the Steelers twice. That is a I don't even think that's ever happened before, where one of those teams not only swept both the Steelers and the Ravens, but blown them out all 4 meetings. I don't think that has ever happened. So Joe Burrow is already on a fast track to superstardom, elite MVP level talent that we are talking about in the league. And it got us thinking we should do our QB list, our tier list. This is something we teased weeks ago. We never quite got around to doing it. We thought this was the perfect time to do it now. We're going to do our tier list of the best quarterbacks. We said 27 and older, 27 and younger, I'm sorry. 27 is usually the time they say that you hit your prime. So basically any quarterback either entering their prime or below, we want to rank those quarterbacks in terms of who we think are going to be the future stars of this league. And there's a lot of good ones. There is a lot of good ones. The NFL is in a really good place in terms of young quarterbacks in this league. And that includes there's a handful of guys that aren't going to make the cut, obviously. But there's some pretty good ones. And obviously there's another draft coming up, and people are so on that draft, but there's still 3 to 5 guys that people think could go in the first round. So take that for how you want. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, but let's, without further ado, we're gonna just go ahead and get this. Here you go, bang. We got a tier list right here. I fully believe there's levels and levels and levels to this shit. So I have an elite category, I have a superstar, I have a star, because there's 2 different things. Mm-hmm. You could be a star without being a superstar, and you could be a superstar without being elite. I truly believe that in most sports, football and basketball especially, there are tiers, and there's certain guys that like we have expectations for because they have all the making of a superstar, but they're not elite. The elite guys to me are the first ballot Hall of Famers, the guys that any franchise could build around, the guy that could deliver a championship if healthy. A superstar is a guy just under that. So you'll probably see my thinking in this when we do these rankings, because there's a lot of guys that are in that superstar range, but not quite elite. And we're just going to go down.
Just for an example, real quick, because Dak is 28, and so is Taylor Heineke. Both are in my division, but right. I'm kind of disappointed because Dak isn't going to count for this under 27 thing. And while I wouldn't put him at elite or superstar, I feel like he is solidly a star.
He's definitely a star. He might be superstar.
Might be a superstar, but because
I wouldn't put him as elite.
And Taylor Heineke, to his credit, because he's had quite the career just journey right now, I'd put him at starter. I think that kid proved enough that he could start in the NFL. Maybe he's not going to be in the higher tiers, but he's definitely somebody that I would rather have as my backup than Mike Glennon. No offense, but it's the truth, or Jake Fromm. So to me, as a Giants fan, in our terrible, terrible situation that we're in currently.
Yeah, and another example for a guy that does make a guy like Derek Carr, I think he's at least a star. I don't think you put him up there. And sometimes when he has great games, we always say, well, should he be a superstar? Is he in the elite category because he shows those flashes? But he's definitely would be a guy that would be in this star range. So so like I said, we got elite, we got superstar, we got star, we got starter, we have NFL quarterback. Because some of these guys, like, they might not be a starter, but like you said, a Taylor Heineke type of dude, he could definitely make a career as at least a backup in this league for years to come. We wouldn't be surprised if he's still in the league 10 years from now, even as a backup. And then you have a complete bust in which, there probably won't be in the league too much longer. And then just for purposes of transparency, I was way too lazy to create a new template and redo all this because I would have had to download every image of every person I needed. So I just used the NFL tier list that was already created, and I just added a bar of too old to qualify, and you already see the guys that are in there. So I did that already, so we don't have to worry about that. So now we're just focused on these young guys right here. Everybody here is 27 and under. These are guys that we believe are the faces.
I'm sure every decision we make will not be controversial, and all of our friends and family will agree with everything we're going to say, because That's always what happens when we talk about NFL quarterbacks. Everybody agrees on everything, and I don't even care where you want to start, man.
Well, no, look, we're just going to go in order. Baker Mayfield. I have him as. Oh, what the hell is happening? Oh. I'm gonna put him as just an NFL quarterback. He's weird. He's weird because there's times where you think that he could be in any one of the, even an elite category.
I've never thought that,
but it's shown that he has been nothing more than a system guy. If the system's not working, you can't really count on him. But he's not a terrible quarterback. He will probably be in the league for a long time. Whether he's a starter or a star in the future remains to be seen, but he'll probably be in the league for a long time. He's not bad. He's just, everything needs to be going right for him to be great. So he's a backup. He's a guy that if he's on the right team as a backup role, he can steal some wins for you as a spot up starter.
I feel like he's somewhere between starter and bust. So I guess NFL QB is the correct tier to put him in. Because if he wasn't picked first overall, I would not say bust. It's only because of where he was chosen that I'm even thinking of that word. And I feel like saying he's just an NFL quarterback is misleading in certain senses, but then you remember everything the Browns have done for him, and it's hard to put him in even the starter category, because if you are like what I just said about Taylor Heineke and you had the team that the Browns built, like, what are you doing?
I'm just fucking with the color.
Wow. Great prepping, bro. All right, so next up.
And actually, I'm glad you said that. To me, I always look at the word bust as what you are compared to what you were supposed to be, right? If you don't pan out, but you're a 30th pick in the draft, that's a lot different from the guy that was number 1 overall.
Yeah, no one's calling Jalen Hurts a bust.
Yeah, like even then, it's your expectations going into the league. So as a basketball reference, everybody talks about Anthony Bennett being like the worst, the biggest bust of all time. To me, he's not, because to me, he was a guy that he was a surprise number 1 pick to begin with in a really bad draft class. So to me, I would look at a guy like maybe even Andrew Wiggins as more of a bust than Anthony Bennett.
I don't think. Listen, I've been a harsh critic of Andrew Wiggins, and not to turn this into a basketball pod, but I feel the opposite. I feel like you get taken first. It doesn't matter if you were a surprise first pick, you are the first pick. Like, and to bring it back to football real quick, because I was critical of Andrew Wiggins, and just in a nutshell, I don't think he's a bust by any definition of it. Unless your only expectation was he was going to be Kevin Durant / LeBron James. That if it's not that, he's been a solid player and he's been good in the league. But to bring it back to football with number 1 picks, Mario Williams. I think Mario Williams was a good pick. Was he a bust of a first round pick? I feel like that's more of a debate, because you can argue he was a good at his position. He was a starter at his position. He got paid at his position and had success elsewhere, even after he got traded. Maybe not the success of what was expected of a first round pick, but certainly success expected of his position. So bust is a complicated term. There's very few unanimous busts we all agree were just, wow, that just did not work. And to bring it to the next player that we're going to pull up, the Bengals, like Achilles Smith, the move they made to pick him up, he's a bust. When you put that much stock into a pick, they're a bust. We brought up Trent Richardson on the last Bullshit Network. Trent Richardson is a bust for a multitude of reasons, not only for me as a Roll Tide fan, but also for what the Browns expected and / what the Colts traded to get him. He's a bust. All the capital that was moved for that name for a guy that wasn't good enough to start on an XFL 2020 team. Yeah. Think about that.
And Burrow, I'm sorry.
Where you putting
right to the top? Right to the top. Hold on.
Yeah, I would say you going elite?
Right to the top. This dude's different. He's different.
I agree.
He's different.
No, I agree. I you know what's funny, man? I was like, I don't think me and you are going to argue unless the most biased part of your Steeler persona put him at like star. You know what I mean? Like, because me and you, because a lot of the time when we speak to our friends, when we speak on the pod, when we speak to each other, there's a lot of assumptions we make when we're talking because we know each other, right? So me and you, a lot of the time when it comes to college quarterbacks, we get stuck in talking about the football racism of it all, with like a Deshaun Watson coming out of college or Lamar Jackson coming out of college. And Joe Burrow is one of those dudes that we've joked saying like he wouldn't have had all that hype if he didn't look the way he did. And mind you, dude has said certain things politically in his short time that didn't even make the waves other quarterbacks would make if they said it. And that comes with not only what he looks like, but how great he's been playing and where he is. He's an Ohio kid on an Ohio team. And we saw with LeBron James that if you're coming from the hometown of the Midwest, you got more leash to kind of be a crazy dog and do whatever you want to do. But with that being said, Burrow, holy shit. Like, I have not been so impressed with a quarterback. It feels like in so long, probably since Russell Wilson. Like, I'm trying to think of like who I've actually been impressed with that I did not think would live up to said hype. And besides like a Lamar Jackson, who I was like a big fan of in college, so I kind of have a bias there. Burrow felt like he came out of nowhere. He didn't beat out Haskins. I was like, how good is this dude going to be when he hits the pros? Not only does he break records in college at LSU, he comes into the pros and just starts, and when he's healthy, he's lighting it the fuck up.
Because Ohio State quarterbacks don't pan out in the league. I'm just putting it out
there.
But
he didn't beat out to be the Ohio State quarterback. Good job, Urban Meyer.
Yeah, good for him. Congratulations. Like that was God saying, "Yo, you don't need this bullshit. Go to a real school. Go to LSU." Sorry, you can call it hate all you want. Ohio State, your quarterbacks suck. They're great. They're great college QBs because the system is set up in a way for you to be successful in college, especially when you have the best players in the conference, bar none. Like no, the Justin Fields. I'm rooting for you because I don't root against anybody. And so far, he's looked good. But even him, he's a Georgia guy that transferred to Ohio State, so it's kind of weird how that works. But I mean, Joe Burrow. The thing about Joe Burrow to me is it's just something about him. Like he doesn't make the throws that a Patrick Mahomes or just Justin Herbert makes, but he's just cool, calm, collected. Is that dude? He's still young. He still makes some mistakes. He still throws interceptions. He still has bad games where you can tell that he's still just young. But then he has other games where he just looks like a 10-year veteran. And I'm like, yo, this dude is different. And
he lit up the Ravens. You alluded to it by saying over 500 yards, which is enough in itself to give a sophomore quarterback some props. But it was 525 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions for a rating of 143.2 to the Ravens. That wasn't to like the Giants. That wasn't to the Jets. That was to the Ravens.
Well, and to be fair, the Ravens defense is just shredded with injuries, but still 500 yards is 500 yards. And at the end of the day, it was a division game. It was a game they needed to have, and he did it. He did what he had to do. I'm not gonna hate on this kid, man. He's from Southeast Ohio. Cincinnati is the closest team to Southeast Ohio. With Athens, Ohio University, you already know, go Bobcats. Dude's lighting it up. I can't even be mad at him, man.
As of this recording, he has over 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns to only 14 interceptions for a rating of 105.
Yeah, and the 14 interceptions is high. So that's what I'm saying. He's still young. But that's the thing. He's going to get better.
Yeah,
he's going to get better. That's why I'm not even going to waste time. I'm just going to put him.
And it's 14 interceptions with 2 young receivers.
Listen. If we're talking about him right now, he's here. If we're talking about right now, he's superstar. But what I'm saying is, common sense is this kid, if he's healthy, he's going to get better. So I'm not even going to waste time and wait till that happens. I'm putting him in the elite category. But there's no way I could put him anywhere underneath superstar.
And if you're hating on Brett for doing that, the only other time he's done this for a young quarterback, ironically, wasn't even his own. It was for Patrick Mahomes. So at least we know there's not actually a bias when he's hyping him. That's kind of what I brought up before. I didn't trail off intelligibly, I hope, but we usually don't even get to talk about the greatness of quarterbacks like this because the whole college thing for us on the Dope blog is usually talking about how corrupt and bullshit it is. That's why I brought up NFL or football racism before. And Joe Burrow is just a breath of fresh air with all the hype, at least in the last couple of years, because he's everything they said he was going to be so far
and more.
And he's fun to watch, and he doesn't seem like an asshole. Like, he doesn't come off as an asshole. He doesn't have some, wannabe social media influencer in his family messing it up for everybody. And the messed up part is you don't even know what I'm talking about because that's how many people in the NFL have that now. So I'm just saying, like, he's preferred over the other rookies and sophomores by a mile. Who's next?
Your boy Danny Dimes. I'm gonna put him here. I don't think he's bad enough to not be in the league anymore. He could probably start for another team, but as of right now, he's probably a really good backup. I think the Steelers are one of those teams that I think, like, hey, if the Giants do decide to let go of him, would the Steelers bring him in just that put him in camp? That would be weird because we already have Haskins, but like I said, I don't think his career is over by any chance. He's got promise. He just, for whatever reason, cannot stop turning the freaking football over.
And for all those reasons, and he's out for the rest of this year with a neck injury, I'm leaning, he's an NFL quarterback at this very moment. Well, is he in the, how confident are you that Daniel Jones is in the league 3 years from now?
As a backup, I think he'll be in the league.
Okay, so that's a bust. He was drafted in the top 10 to be on your rookie, to barely be on your rookie contract.
Well, for the purposes of this, when I put bust, I don't think these are guys that aren't even going to be in the league.
Okay, I just want the record to show and reflect that if my official pick for my own starting quarterback as of this recording, if I have to just
I'll put him in. I'll put him in.
I don't think, to be fair, even Baker Mayfield talked shit about the Daniel Jones pick, and I took exception to that because who the hell was Baker Mayfield to bring up who the Giants are drafting? But since he said that, I've defended him this year. He's gotten better in certain respects, and certain games that we lost was not his fault. But he's late and sorry, and a lot of his stats that you're going to point to, and for your explanation of why he's an NFL quarterback, yeah, he could be a backup somewhere because it feels like most of his stats come in garbage time. The game's lost, and then you drop 2 touchdowns because after we're losing 30-3, like. Whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and with the neck injury, you just sent me something the other day about how the Giants might be looking at a quarterback in this next draft. That's a bust.
All right, well, I moved him down. He's down there. Next we have Drew Locke. Oh, this hurts me, man. This hurts me. I'm gonna put him here.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, why are you going so high? How much are we gonna talk about this guy?
No, I really thought he was gonna be good. It's funny, same draft class. He's a guy that I thought the Giants should have drafted instead of Daniel Jones. He's a guy that they could have gotten with their second pick. Could have went with Josh Allen with the number 6 overall pick, and Drew Locke would have been there at 17. I really thought he was going to be good. I really did. He has the arm talent. He had the moxie. He had everything that you thought you would need in a quarterback. And I honestly can't even tell you what the problem is. Like, he's got weapons.
Not that good. That's what the problem is.
Like, he's got weapons. He's got an offensive line. They got a defense. I think it was 2 years ago, I thought the Denver Broncos were going to be the surprise team of the AFC. I thought they were going to be like a division winner.
For context, I put Daniel Jones up the bust, and his best season was ironically his rookie year, where he threw for 3,000 yards. He threw for just under 3,000 yards in 2020, and then obviously this year he's finished with less than 2,500 yards. Not counting the quarterback rating that's never been higher than 87.7 again, which is his rookie season. Now, I go to Drew Locke, and for his career, 2019, 1,000 yards, 1,020 yards, so 1,000 yards. I don't know how many games he played. I'm not looking at that right now. 2020, didn't throw for 3,000 yards, 29, 33. And then this year, only 380 yards. Yeah, he's a bust. Throw him in there. Like, he's such a bust that if this was next year, he wouldn't even be on this list.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we need to devote more time to Drew Locke because the Broncos aren't devoting more time to Drew Locke. And I don't think any NFL team was. But, hey, bro, I heard the XFL is restarting soon, so you have a shot. So,
Jared Goff, NFL quarterback. Actually, I'll put him at starter.
I'll put him at NFL quarterback. You can put him at starter. I don't care enough. But I don't think he's – I think he's a starter for a bad team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think can they be a playoff team? Obviously, we saw the Rams, but I guess starter.
Again, I think he's a better Baker Mayfield. If the system's right, he's really good. If the system's not right, he's not that good. But what he's shown even on the Lions is he's got a little bit better at being able to like make things on his own. Now, again, the Lions have 2 wins, so how much is he making on his own? But the Lions also don't have that much talent. So I've seen enough of him to say, like, you know what, he might be a starter somewhere. Is he going to be a starter on a good team? To your point, no. But stopgap quarterback, stuff like that, I think he's a little bit better than NFL quarterback. I mean, you could put him here, but I don't think he's a bust at all. I think at worst he's an NFL quarterback. I still think he might start. Well, I think he'll still start for the Lions. I don't think the Lions are going to go quarterback. I know they have 2 first-round picks, and a lot of people think with the second one they'll take a guy, but they're still paying him all that money. I just see him. I see them rocking out with him for another year or so. Dwayne Haskins. Oof.
Bust.
I hate to say, I was going to say NFL quarterback, but right now he's not even the backup quarterback in Pittsburgh. And Mason Rudolph is god-awful. So if you can't even beat out Mason Rudolph, you're not an NFL quarterback.
I wanted the Giants to draft him so bad. And the fact that he's a complete non-factor in what's supposed to be year 3 of his career on his rookie deal still. And besides the whole Ohio State thing, right? Because sometimes we get caught up in stereotypes of college players, and that's all we hear, and we just sound like we're repeating it. This dude did everything in his power to not have a successful career based off his moves in Washington. Like, I'm all for you being independent and not just blindly following a corporation that doesn't have your best interest at heart. I could always get on somebody's side if that's the truth of the situation. The truth of the situation there, when the entire world got hit by a pandemic, this asshole just wasn't following the rules. When there was rules to follow, he was always getting caught in some drama and bullshit. Way more drama and bullshit than even they would give to a star receiver, let alone what's supposed to be your franchise quarterback, aka your CEO of the football team. He was involved. He was somehow involved with that BS robbery that the cornerback bust for the Giants was involved in. Like, if there was a way for you to go, how can I fuck up on my rookie deal so much that I'm not even on the team by the come contract time? I follow what Dwayne Haskins did, because a guy that was breaking every damn record that the Big Ten had to offer a quarterback to break, he was doing it. And then 14 minutes later, no one remembers your name. And that's on you, man. Because, yeah, what you said, Ohio State quarterbacks don't have a good record in the pros, but when an XFL quarterback's lighting it up with your team and everybody lost faith in you because you cared more about your stats than the win or whatever, that's on you. That has nothing to do with where you went to college. That had everything to do with the character that you are as a person. And obviously he has not grown from that, because when he left, wasn't his dad like bitching about, oh, well, he didn't get a fair shot? How do you not get a fair shot? He got drafted in the top 10. That is the most respect the league can give you.
He didn't get a fair shot because it was Washington. That team sucked, and he had maturity issues, and that's an issue. Like I said, my thing is, I was excited. You know me, I was excited that we gave him a chance at Pittsburgh. My thing is, Mason Rudolph is garbage. If you cannot beat out Mason Rudolph for the backup position, that tells me a lot about how you are as a quarterback. And I don't think it's talent-wise, because even Ben Roethlisberger raved about how great he was in training camp and over the summer. Like, yo, like his arm strength, he could throw a football through a car wash and it wouldn't get wet. That's a pretty good compliment to have. But to me, it's a processor thing. He still probably has not learned the playbook. He probably still is not making good decisions in practice. And so if you can't even beat out Mason Rudolph, who, like, I'm going to continue to, Mason Rudolph had us tie the Lions. We almost lost to the Lions because that's how bad Mason Rudolph was. And you're telling me Dwayne Haskins couldn't beat him out? That's a problem, dude. If you can't even do that, I don't see how you last in the NFL. The Steelers will probably bring him back again. If Ben does retire, they'll probably bring him and Mason back to compete once again for the starting quarterback job. But if he does not beat out Mason Rudolph for the starting quarterback job, I don't see how he lasts in the NFL much longer. I really don't. Especially since, no offense, especially as a black quarterback, he's not that athletic. That's one of the weird things about him. He's a pocket passer type of quarterback. So if you're not going to be as accurate and as good decision making, and you don't have the athleticism to take advantage of your lack of accuracy and stuff like that, who's going to take you? Because what skill set are you bringing? You know what I mean? And we talk about NFL racism. It does hurt that you're black and you're doing this. If you're white and you were doing this, okay.
Dude, I think if he was a white quarterback that was doing this, he wouldn't even be in the league. I think it's the NFL racism keeping him there because they think he's mobile and he could just get thrown in a game and they'll figure it out. Like,
yeah, you're probably right. You're right.
Like let's be real, because if Daniel Jones hits the market, everyone knows Daniel Jones is mobile.
Right. True.
If Daniel Jones hits the market, if Drew Locke hits the market, they're all better options than Dwayne Haskins. And not to mention this next crop of quarterbacks that are becoming in this draft that don't get to stay on a team. Yeah. So Dwayne Haskins is done. Like, he's gone. His story's written. Best of luck in the XFL.
Well, no, like I said, I do think he's going to come back to Pittsburgh next year, and he'll have a chance to compete for the starting job. He's got to take advantage of it. But the reason why I'm putting him in a bust category is because if and when he doesn't, then you're right.
I don't even think he's going to be on your team come preseason.
Wow, you think it's that bad? Wow, I know I got more faith in him than that. But a guy I really have faith in is this guy, Justin Herbert. Yeah, we're doing this. Hold on. Yes, sir. All the way to the top. You are elite, my boy.
Yep.
I gave him a lot of crap for winning Rookie of the Year. I thought it was supposed to be Justin Jefferson.
It was supposed to be Justin Jefferson.
I did not know he broke all these quarterback records, and so yeah, you're gonna get the.
Well, no, this year he surpassed Andrew Luck's record for most passing yards in an NFL quarterback's first 2 seasons. Additionally, he surpassed Dan Marino's record for most total touchdowns in an NFL quarterback's first 2 seasons. So he broke the records held by guys you were going to praise as elite quarterbacks.
Yeah,
and
so he broke records. He broke records as a rookie, and he's breaking even more records as a second-year guy. He's in the league. He might have the most electric arm in the league outside of Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers.
And both years, his rookie year, he played 15 games, and he's played 15 games so far this year. And both times he's passed 4,000 yards in those 15 games.
Yeah. Elite.
So yeah, his floor apparently is star. And what we see when we watch,
I think his floor is here. But like I said, I think Burrow is here, but I'm putting him up here. I think Justin Herbert's already in this category. Herbert,
dude's special. When we watch him, and I like to just hate on the Chargers out of the fun of the whole Eli trade. It's kind of like
and both of them are still young. Justin Herbert also has games where you said, what the hell happened to Justin Herbert? He threw a bunch of picks and he doesn't look good.
And then he lights it up.
He's young. These 2 dudes are going to be 2 of the faces of the league for a long time.
That's the AFC rivalry. I'm waiting to speed this shit up. Let's get to it. I want to see that in the playoffs for the next 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Oh, roll tide.
Why are you doing this? Jalen Hurts, I'm not going to lie to you, man. I really like him, bro. I think
I'm not going to go star yet because I think he's just the starter. Because remember, I said he should get drafted, and you and a lot of other people were like, he's going to go 3rd, 4th, maybe 5th round. He's not going to be in the league like that, yada, yada, yada. And then now he's a starter, and people kind of know. And unless you're an Eagles fan who gets super annoyed at him, you're kind of like us, and you're like, holy shit, this kid's winning. And I've been a fan of him since college. I don't think he's a star, but I do think he's a starter.
I think they put some more receivers on that roster besides Devontae Adams. I think he's going to be a star.
Smith.
I'm not going to put him.
Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
You said Adams.
Oh, my bad. Devontae Smith. You give him some more weapons. I'm sorry. I think this dude's got it. I think he's got that it factor. He's not going to be the best quarterback, but he's a winner. He's a leader. He's a guy that makes you confident you can win any game. They have a good offensive line. When they decide to run the ball and be balanced, they're good. Like I said, they still need some more receivers, and that's fine. They got a bunch of draft picks this year. And even though this isn't the same year as other years in terms of wide receivers, they can definitely get a guy that could be a number 2.
Yeah, but I don't think he's a starter just yet. He's thrown for just under 3,000 yards this season, 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 87. The quarterback rating is around the same rating that I'm giving to a bust, and it's more off potential / how he's making it work with a team that we all expected to be drafting in the top 5.
Right. That's what I'm saying. This Eagles team is not nowhere near as good talent-wise as some of these other.
I agree. And that's why I think he is a starting quarterback. But to your point, dude's making it work, and they're in the hunt for the playoffs when they have no business being there.
Right, and it's mostly because of him. That's why I got to put.
And the Giants, and he didn't play that well against my Giants, but my Giants, the only thing we kind of have that's decent is our defense, apparently, which I don't understand it either. So whatever. But when my friends were texting me during the game, Eagle fan friends, and they were complaining about Jalen Hurts, and I was like, I'll trade you. Give him to us at halftime and see if we don't start lighting y'all up. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I felt during the game.
I look, again, I agree. Right now, he's a starter. I'm projecting him to be a star. I think you put some weapons. I think if they truly embrace him and put some weapons around him and work to his strengths, I think he's going to be a star in this league. Josh Allen, you already know. We're not even going to Boom. MVP candidate.
So
Elite.
okay. I was thinking more superstar off the top of my head. I haven't looked at his actual numbers though, so I could be blown away in a second. I know the Bills are good, so everyone's going to be like, "Oh, rah, rah, rah." I said superstar. You know what I mean? Like I didn't. It wasn't like I was like, "Oh, he's a NFL quarterback."
I mean, and you're seeing a theme here: quarterbacks on traditionally bad teams that are making their teams playoff contenders.
Yes, 100%. That is a trend that apparently me and you just established, because I'm not even arguing he's elite. I just didn't know if it was elite yet, but then granted, our elite's completely based off the talent and the projection of the talent that we feel is going to happen. But real quick, right, we're moving on so fast. Nothing else that you want to say about Josh Allen?
No, there's nothing. We need MVP. He could have won an MVP last year. He's not going to win it this year because Buffalo's been up and down, but he's an MVP caliber quarterback. He's elite, and we still got a whole bunch of. We still got a,
Okay, yeah, I guess any Bills fans that want us to talk about discuss the excellence that is your team the last couple of years, let us know if that's the case.
Easily, I put Justin Fields as NFL quarterback. He's looked good, but like it's hard. It's really hard to tell that team is garbage. He has
this is where I'm playing devil's advocate about Jalen Hurts, because I can make the argument that Justin Fields should be a starter just because of how shitty the Bears are, but NFL quarterback seems right because you're biased. You want to put him in bust. You're like, look at him. Look at the Buckeye all happy.
Yeah, well, at the same time, there's also been games where you look at him and you say, oh my God. But again, he's a rookie, and a lot of people thought he was going to need some time to develop. So I can't put him anywhere else but NFL quarterback right now. I mean, Nick Foles won them a game, and so he's already lost his starting job, not even all the way through his rookie season yet. So what does that say about him? Kyler Murray, man, Kyler Murray, I think to me, this is where the superstar comes in. He's not elite yet. He's not elite yet.
Not elite yet.
Every time we want to put him there, I mean, the Cardinals have lost 3 straight, right? And I understand they don't have D.O.P.E, but Kyler Murray is very inconsistent. And there's times where he looks like a top 5 quarterback, but then there's other times where he just looks okay. And again, I think he's way better than a star, but I don't think he's anywhere near this elite category yet. I don't. And
not yet. He flashes elite. He doesn't maintain, I'm going to make this team the best it possibly is. Again, super young. But those intangibles.
But the problem I have with it is this is year 3, 4 for him. This is year 3 for him.
I think so.
Yeah. Daniel Jones draft class. This is year 3 for him. So it's one of those things like, okay, how much longer are we going to keep looking at his potential instead of looking at him for what he is? And so to me, again, he is a legit superstar. But that's why this superstar tier exists, because he is definitely better than a star, but I don't think he's anywhere near the elite category.
Well, no, he's his floor is star, and he is a superstar. He hasn't passed for over 4,000 yards yet. He hasn't his passing percentage hasn't been finished over 70%, and his quarterback rating this year right now is 100, but every other year, so in the 90s. Hold on, let me get it. It was 94.3 last year and 87.4 his rookie year. So each year he is progressing, which is why we both believe he's a superstar. But at the same time, he has not been as dominant as the other 3 men we are putting in that elite.
And not just dominant, he just hasn't been as consistent. Like I said, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, even Josh Allen, they'll have bad games, but they'll also put a string of games together that are elite and then have one bad game. Kyler Murray, for the first half of the, and really it seems to be a second half of the year thing. This is the second year in a row the Cardinals got out the gate on fire and then have tailed off tremendously towards the end of the year. They're doing it again this year. So, I mean, again, his floor is star. Like I said, I think he's much better than a star, but I can't put him anywhere near the elite category yet, which is why we have this superstar tier. And like I said, there's a difference. There is a difference. You know what I mean? Like, he's much better than Jalen Hurts, but I don't think he's on the level of these guys. Like, that's just where I'm at with it. Lamar Jackson, I mean, anybody that's an
the shade you put it as a quarterback.
Well, no, it's just the way that this thing works.
I know, but the Steelers fan came out for a second. He went, Lamar Jackson. Just dropped him at a quarterback.
Anybody?
You think you're slick? I saw that. I saw that little pause. You went,
I could leave him here. No, Lamar Jackson, anytime you win an MVP, you got to at least be elite for that year. I mean, he showed me something this year, man. That team has been decimated, and he was balling. He would look like he was going to be an MVP again this year. If I'm being honest with you, I would put him in the superstar category.
I was going to say, put him in the superstar category.
If I'm being honest with you, but I'm also a big believer in just because you won an MVP in the NFL doesn't mean you're in the elite category, because you basically had a 16-game stretch where you were great. Matt Ryan's a former MVP. Carson Wentz is technically a former MVP. So what does that tell you? Cam Newton's a former MVP. So to me, I think he's a superstar. I don't know if he's elite, only because even before he got hurt, his lack of accuracy and his lack of QB IQ from the pocket was a problem. Teams just said, hey, you know what? You can't run it. Y'all can't run anymore. We're just going to blitz y'all. And he has struggled picking that up. And they've been faltering ever since. So it's one of those things where, again, we know now, again, he is much closer to here than Kyler Murray is. Kyler Murray, I think, is a solid superstar where he's much better than a star, but I don't think he's anywhere near elite. Lamar Jackson's kind of like in the middle. He flirts with that elite status, but I think he's a superstar. And the only way I would ever put him permanently in that elite category is he has to be better throwing the football.
No, he has to win a ring. If he comes back,
but I don't think they can win a ring without him developing as a pocket passer. I just don't.
I don't think he needs to develop as a pocket passer. I think he just needs to continue. Which, mind you, we say more accurate. And some games, the biggest criticism anyone has of him is that he didn't throw it 30 times and he finished some stupid shit like 15 or 14 for 15 or something like that. You know what I mean? So the accurate part's misleading. He's not as accurate from the pocket as traditionally we would like. But if you're winning games, that's what the quarterback is supposed to lead you to.
No, he definitely wins games for sure. Again, he flirts with this elite category. I just think for them to take that ultimate step of winning a chip, he's got to be a better passer. And even those stats are, he's accurate, but that's because his play action to Mark Andrews over the middle, he's really good at that. Asking him to throw outside the numbers consistently, he's not good at that yet. Especially again when you're blitzing and you're confusing him with defensive schemes. If they're not able to run the ball all the time and use that play action game, he gets a little bit limited. But he's still a baller. And so again, I'm not going to disrespect him and put him down. He is a legit superstar with a hair braid in the elite category. So superstar. Jordan Love, I'm sorry, you're there. You're there.
All right, next.
I'm not even gonna argue.
We can't even talk that much. Yeah, he had one bad game, and we all kind of went, shouldn't have drafted him in the first round. I guess.
Well, it's bad when like the Packers are kind of like, hey, Rodgers, like please stay, and then they're also like, hey, if we do trade you, like whoever we trade you for, we need a quarterback in return. Why? You have a young guy that you drafted in the first.
No, that is the most, and it's sad because he was like one of the only things that NFL fans kind of were just hopeful for, that no, this kid's going to be good when he gets a chance. Look at how Aaron Rodgers was, yada, yada, yada. And then we watched him. And it's kind of like, and it's terrible on such a small sample size, but it felt like it was enough to know, no, he's not good enough.
And also, I think it was unfair. Like, we forget Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be the number one pick in the draft that year. He fell to the Packers. Jordan Love, it's funny, at the time there was a debate of whether he should be picked before Justin Herbert, but Jordan Love was a guy we all knew was going to be a developmental quarterback. For whatever reason, the Packers decided we have Aaron Rodgers, let's draft him and develop him. But I think part of what reason why he hasn't played well is I think that's it's hard to be the center of all that controversy, right? You didn't do nothing but get drafted. Like, you did nothing wrong but get drafted.
But all that extra stuff is just noise. When you gave him the same team that Aaron Rodgers is going out there and lighting it up with, it looked bad. And I'm saying that as somebody that my defense of Daniel Jones is I seen him look good with the same garbage that the backups can't do anything. And I'm calling it garbage because other teams like the Ravens that have 20 injuries have to be able to figure it out. You have teams like the Colts that might be using their third string offensive linemen that are able to figure it out, showing the depth that NFL teams really have. And when all he had to do was take over. He didn't have to win. I don't mean take over the game. He just had to be a game manager and provide hope, which pretty much means throw 200 yards, maybe one touchdown, and don't turn the ball over.
Yeah. I feel bad for him because I feel like in a better situation, maybe, but he doesn't.
Better situation. See, that's the key. Better situation. Better situation. What? Where?
Somewhere where he doesn't have the weight of the world on his shoulders.
If you got the weight of the world on your shoulders out in Wisconsin, that's on you.
I mean, it's the Packers. Let's not act like it's not a historic franchise.
It's a historic franchise. It ain't a media market like anything else that's in the NFL. Everything's talking about Aaron Rodgers. All you have to do is go out there and be decent. You don't have to be better than Aaron Rodgers. That was not the pressure. Where are you putting T-Law?
Star? What the hell have you seen?
You are going to sit here and argue that Jordan Love deserves all the pressure of the world. First overall,
I didn't put him an NFL quarterback. I put him as starter.
Yeah, and he's better than a starter. He's a star. He's in the Jacksonville. He's on Jacksonville.
What has he done that makes you think he's a star?
Hold on. I'm
gonna ask you a question. What has he done to make you think he's a star?
He's played in Jacksonville and got Urban Meyer out.
Urban Meyer got Urban Meyer out.
Hey, listen, tomato. But if you're going to be giving all these passes or to Jordan Love,
but why is starter bad? That's. I'm saying he's good enough. I think he's going to be good enough to at least be a starter in the NFL. We don't know.
He's good enough to be a star in the NFL like Jalen Hurts?
Starter. He has not done anything in his rookie year that makes me think he's a star yet. He's played pretty bad, man.
I mean, it's actually the one thing he had, the one game that I could argue. This is literally the one game that came to my mind is the Thursday night game, Bengals-Jags. Watching him and Burrow go back and forth was a lot of fun.
It was fun. Again, I have him as a starter. I'm not saying he can't be a star. I'm not saying he can't be elite one day, but I haven't seen anything from him that makes me say it's a guarantee.
Bro, tell me how I looked real fast at his stats, and he hasn't thrown a touchdown in a few weeks now. To your point, but I looked fast because every other on my phone it was like almost every game in the season. This one only had 3. So in the fourth little column, it said 14 interceptions. I was like, how the fuck can he throw 14 interceptions in a week? And we ain't talking about it. Oh man, sorry, stoner moment. But I think he has the potential to be a star. I think if we're gonna play the game that Jordan Love had all this pressure on him, and Chicago's so shit, and the Eagles are so shit, Jacksonville is so shit. That's all I'm saying. But to your point, he needs to show more. So possibly starter is the best position right now.
I'm not saying he can't be a star one day, but right now I'm not. Listen, you know me, and I've been very hard on Trevor Lawrence because again, I think he's another example of NFL racism. If he was black and those were dreadlocks, he would not have been the first pick in the draft. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Once again, why we always need to clarify when we mean NFL racism, because you were clear from that from before the draft, and had nothing to do with Trevor Lawrence as a person or how he was playing, and that's what I was alluding to last week.
Let me clarify for people that don't. He won a championship his freshman year. Okay, cool. He was the golden boy, next Andrew Luck, next Joe Montana, next John Elway. From then on, okay, cool. Got destroyed in the championship game the year after that. And by the way, should have lost to Ohio State, but because of the miscommunication between Justin Field and Garrett Wilson or Olave, whoever it was, Justin Fields threw a pick that should have been the game-winning touchdown. But okay, so skated by the skin of his teeth in Ohio State, got destroyed in the national championship game, year 2. Year 3 gets destroyed by Justin Fields in Ohio State again. Right, and played on a Clemson team that was dominating a really bad ACC conference. Oh, and by the way, a lot of those games they were barely winning, but we just poo-pooed it because we thought they were bored. I'm sorry. Let him be a black quarterback and have a steady decline in production, never winning a Heisman or any of that stuff, I'm sorry, there's no way he would have been the number one pick in the draft.
And just for the context of the the football racism,
hold on.
No, I'm adding to what you're saying just real quick. Jalen Hurts and the star that Brett sees in Jalen Hurts is why I kept pointing Jalen Hurts, because we're pretty much talking about college quarterbacks. Me and Brett were fans of their whole careers. Jalen Hurts is like 9th all time at Alabama. Like, he had a great college career, and because he fell off in a high profile moment, he went from should be a first round draft pick to maybe 3rd, more around 4th by the time of the draft, because he left Alabama, was a Sooner, yada, yada, yada. And all Brett is saying is that's the trajectory that I forget the name we came up with for Trevor Lawrence if he was black, but that's what he would be if he had dreads. He would have probably gotten dropped at least in stock, if not by Clemson, because he played like shit in the big profile.
But again, speaking of Clemson, Deshaun Watson descended up, and yet he still fell behind Michigan.
Oh, don't worry, we got the justice coming up in Deshaun Watson and what he.
And even Justin Fields, the same draft class and everything. Matter of fact, there were the number 1 and number 2 prospects coming out, right? Justin Fields transferred from Georgia, went to Ohio State, and got better. Trevor Lawrence went up, and yet somehow he's the one that fell to the 4th quarterback picked in that same draft. And that's what I'm saying by NFL racism, because we nitpicked a game against Northwestern and a game against, I forget who the hell it was, but it's like, wait a minute. So Trevor Lawrence could have a bad game against freaking UNC and Pitt, but he's bored. But because Justin Fields threw an interception against Northwestern, well, I don't know. I don't know if he processes this well. Like, suck a fucking you know what. And what I'm saying,
how you said fucking, but the dick part would have went too far.
Like stop it. But yet, like I said, I've seen Trevor Lawrence in the NFL. He's shown flashes of greatness. He's also shown flashes of a complete bust. He has. So if we're going to be real, I'm being nice by putting him as a starter, because I don't think he's a bad quarterback by any stretch of imagination. I think he's good. I understand he's in a terrible situation with Jacksonville, but again, I'm grading him the same way I would grade anybody else. I put Justin Fields as NFL quarterback. Why? He's also in a bad situation, but he's also shown that he's shown flashes of greatness, shown flashes of being a bust. I'm still giving Trevor Lawrence the benefit of the doubt that he is the golden child that everybody thought Sunshine would be. But I'm also not going to put him in the star category just because of his namesake, because we don't know yet. We do not know yet. Again, he was on a stacked, and I mean stacked Clemson team, and was running through the ACC. Every time he played big boys, besides his freshman year when people didn't really know about him, every time he played big boys in the college football playoff, they got ran, okay? And so far in the NFL, he's been getting ran because he's playing big boys. So again, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not rooting against him. Got him as starter. I'm not putting out there, but I will not disrespect everybody in this class by putting him up there. He has not earned that right yet at all. I'm sorry. I'm not going to, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's a bust 5 years from now.
Hold on. You dropped the mic. I just got to pick it up. We got to move on.
Mac Jones.
Starter.
Nah, he's a star.
I think he's a star, man. He's the best rookie so far.
He's the best rookie so far, to be very honest with you. And once again, it proved my point this year. They have not beaten anybody this year. I don't care what y'all say. They have not beaten a good team this entire year. When they played Buffalo, when the wind wasn't crazy and Buffalo was, stubborn enough to not have to run the ball, once again, they got trounced. They have not beaten a good team all year. He's looked good. He's going to be good. He is Tom Brady 2.0. But I also remind people, Tom Brady's not the best quarterback of all time. He's the greatest. It's two different things. So Mac Jones, if you're not going to be the best quarterback in the league, can you be the greatest? So far, I have not seen that, because yes, you play well enough to beat bad teams. And that's literally what the Patriots do. They play in a bad division, they play bad teams, and they let other teams beat themselves. So
you feel like Mac Jones is more starter than star?
I'm going to be fair and put him at star for now. I think talent-wise, he's more of a starter.
Me too, but but
it's the
judging
opposite.
off his production and when they needed him to kind of show up, he kind of has. I haven't
Right.
watched every
So why I
Patriots
put
game.
it, he's the opposite of Trevor Lawrence. He's the opposite of Trevor Lawrence. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt of what he's done so far, but I'm also not impressed. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he will be better, but I'm not impressed. I'm going to give him a star because I think in that New England system, he will be good.
Okay.
But I'm also saying they have not been anybody good yet. And when you've asked him to outthrow other quarterbacks, he has not proven he can do that yet. And at some point, he's going to have to do that. For me to put him, for me to be actually more I think about it, I just talked myself down. He's a starter. I'm sorry. In order for you to be a star or a superstar,
I'm just happy I don't have control over the final say. I don't have any control over where you're putting him because I'm like, I have so many second guesses on this alone. Keep him at starter. I'm with you on that. I'm just saying, it's just funny because I'm good. I'm free.
At some point, you have to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Now, and to Brady's point, Brady did show he could do that. Like, hey, look, I'm more of a game manager type of quarterback, but if I need to sling it around, I can do it.
That's the next little tier thing me and you should do is do all 32 teams, how people, what they say they are. Like, oh, he's a game manager. Oh, he's just a pocket passer. He's a field general. We'll do all the tiers and where these motherfuckers fall because it's kind of funny who lands where. Oh, come on. We don't even got to talk about it.
I mean, Pat Mahomes deserves a category on his own.
He's Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, I should
actually drop him down the star just for his brother. Don't make another tier for Patrick Mahomes. You close out of that. No, that's a bad Brett. That's a bad Brett. God, you're gonna type God. Oh my God. God tier.
Goat tier.
Oh, I'm illiterate.
Goat tier. Come on.
Okay, whatever. Let's keep you moving. I'm not gonna sit here.
Let's be real. Oh, Jesus.
Say his name. You got to say the name for the people listening on audio form. You can't just scream at the picture that you're touching.
Hey, guys, guess who this quarterback is? I laughed. Oh, Jesus, this guy. I know about this guy, and I put him in the bust category.
What is Sam Darnold?
If you guess Sam Darnold, yes, you are correct. He is a bust. I
heard from plenty of Jets fans, Mr. Carroll, that he was the best quarterback of his draft. Every analyst agreed that he would be the best player that was 23 years old at whatever time he was 23 years old. Feels like Sam Darnold was 23 or younger, longer than anybody else on the face of the planet. But he's so young and all of his potential and and that the Giants made a mistake by not taking him. And now we have him, whoever we may be at this current moment. And he's going to prove everybody wrong because USC quarterbacks, alluding back to before when I said college university stereotypes, everything we've heard about Sam Darnold and the few flashes, because there's been a couple plays where the dude was balling. Now, I don't think anyone could take it away from him, but those were plays, not games, plays. And it's been 3 years, and what have we seen?
Yeah, nothing. Absolutely
nothing.
I had so many high hopes for him when he went to the Panthers. It's weird because, again, he's probably the best in this bust category because unlike the rest of them, you've seen flashes where he could be a star, maybe even a superstar. But my God, the turnovers, the bad decision-making, the inability to adjust. Like he just has not been able to do the right things. And again, I said it all year. I understand the Panthers' offensive line is terrible. I understand that. But you can't tell me they don't have weapons. Their defense has been elite all year. And yet the lack of quarterback play is the reason why they can't even win football games, man. They can't even win football games because he's this bad. And so he'll be on the Panthers next year because they owe him money. After that, I don't see any NFL team taking him because it's
maybe the Steelers. They'll need a quarterback.
He's got to prove that he could stop turning the ball over, man. Like he's got all the skills. Unlike the rest of these bums, he's got the skills. It's just this. It's this. I'm very disappointed with him.
Who the hell is that?
Mr. Trubisky. He's an NFL quarterback. He'll be in the league. Matt Nagy
No.
Now that he's away from Matt Nagy, he will be. He's not a bust.
He's a bust. How is he not a bust?
Because he's going to be a backup quarterback in this league for a long time.
Backup quarterback doesn't mean you're not a bust, though.
These guys aren't going to be in the league.
Okay, but where was Mitch Trubisky drafted? Daniel Jones will be in the league.
I don't know about that.
Okay, I don't know.
Hold on. I had Daniel Jones up here.
And I'm saying Trubisky is bust too. I'm not saying put Daniel Jones up higher. I'm saying drop Trubisky's ass down to bust. He's a bust.
I also think that's not fair to him. He shouldn't have been here. NFL racism. That's
don't care. Don't care.
He's Anthony Bennett. He should
listen. Duke, North Carolina, bust. Drop him down one. You made a god tier or a goat tier before. Drop his ass down to bust, and we can agree on everything.
Fine.
Bust.
I'm sorry, Mitch.
Ain't nobody ever watch an NFL game and go, damn, Mitch Trubisky's going to be the future. That ain't never damn happened in an NFL game.
He showed flashes in Chicago. Again, once I think
he's shown so many flashes that they drafted a quarterback. Come on. Okay,
Mitch, I tried. Tua. Ooh, this is interesting.
Josh Rosen's under 27. We should add him on the tier since we got Mr. Trubisky on here.
Oh no, he'll be in the woke tier. I'll add another one for him. Woke, worst of all time. Tua, I'm gonna put him at starter. I still like his star potential. He like Jalen. Matter of fact, man, fuck that.
No. You're pushing it with starter. You're pushing it with starter right now. And then you want to go up and put him in the star category. No. What about him looks like a star quarterback? Besides his face and his hair. What about him looks like a star?
Nothing. I just wanted to see what your reaction was going to be.
Damn, man.
But the thing about it, he does remind me a lot of Jalen Hurts. Once they get some more players, and
he reminds you of Jalen Hurts because you remember that dude took his job in college. That's why.
True, I forgot about that. But he's like the AFC version. Now he hasn't been as productive. It's weird. They've won 7 straight. So to be fair,
that's why he's in the starter.
He's in the starter, but they're like the conference version of each other. I'm interested to see what they look like when they get more playmakers and when they get more. Again, he's got Jalen Waddle, he's got Devontae Smith.
Well, when the Eagles get more playmakers, I think there'll be more of a favorite in the coming out of the East. And when the Dolphins get more playmakers, Tua won't be their quarterback.
I don't know about that. If they can't get Deshaun Watson, I think Tua has played well enough this year that they're like, all right, let's keep rocking with him.
And that's how we tease a Watson Tua episode in the future, my friend.
Yeah, but he's gotta stay healthy too, though. That's his biggest problem. He's been fragile. But again, I think they like him. I don't know why people were hating on him so much after his rookie year. I get it. He had more hype than Trevor Lawrence coming out, but still, I don't understand why oh wow. Speaking of, Deshaun Watson's next. Deshaun Watts next. Yeah, let's
well, for the regular season this year, Tua Tagovailoa has 15 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 94, and has only thrown for less than 2,400 yards.
Yeah.
So barely a starter.
Their offense is atrocious, though.
And that's why he's barely a starter, let alone a star. But
yeah, well, like I said, I want to see what he can be when they put more weapons. Deshaun Watson, I'm not gonna lie to you. Not only is he elite, I kind of want to put him in this GOAT tier.
No, dude. Honestly, I think
I can't. To be fair, I can't praise a dude that allegedly.
I think I would put him in superstar because he for all the other reasons. Well, because that's what he is. He hasn't got a chance to be elite yet.
What do you mean he hasn't got a chance to be elite yet?
He hasn't had the chance to be elite yet.
What do you mean?
Whenever he found his favorite target, the Texans got rid of him. Yeah, you think he's had elite seasons so far?
You know, he led the NFL in passing yards last year, right?
That was last year?
Yeah.
No, I forgot about that.
Without D.O.P.E. Yeah, he's elite, bro. They're like I said, I want to put him here. If the allegations and the fact that he hasn't played this year is the only reason why he's
Oh,
not.
besides all that, we're like if he raped somebody 21 different times, he's not. We don't even have to discuss him. But we're going underneath, or not underneath. We're going under the fact that guilty until proven innocent, and this dude is most likely going to play again. I wouldn't put him in the GOAT tier. Elite's fine.
No, dude, I'm telling you, he's legit. I want to put him here. I'm not going to do that because he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet or has gotten close to a Super Bowl yet. But in terms of talent, he's up there. He is.
Talent wise, yeah.
He is here. Yeah, his floor is elite. Matter of fact, yeah, his floor is superstar Super Saiyan 2. That's his floor.
Super Saiyan 2.
Like he's a tier, but nah.
Dude, I was a fan of him coming out of college. I don't know how much of it is my own hype because it's not like we get Texan games every week. You know what I mean? So some of the games I saw were those bad Texan games, and other games I saw, he was balling. Like I know he was a top 5 quarterback last time he was playing, but overall, what does that mean in an ever evolving league where it feels like?
Yeah, I think it's out of sight, out of mind. Like if he was playing this year, we would be.
It feels like 100 years ago I watched him play.
Yeah, we would be. Yeah, because nobody watched the Texan game 2 years ago because they sucked. And he hasn't played this year. But trust me,
did you just put famous Jameis only at NFL QB tier?
I was waiting for you. I didn't know. I want to put him as at least a starter. I think.
Yeah, he's at least a starter. I think he's proved that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, he really didn't need the LASIK surgery. So
once again, he has everything to be in these categories, except just him and Daniel Jones. I've never seen 2 quarterbacks in my life that cannot stop turning the ball over.
Bro, look at what we got for starter. But look at the list we got for starter and how much college hype is in this list. Jameis Winston, Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence. Like, that is eras of college football that is in the starter category.
National championship winner, national championship winner, national championship winner, national championship winner. I don't know why the fuck.
Good for you, Jared. Good for you. You're here, buddy.
I don't know how you got in there. But the rest of these guys are national championship winners. I mean, Jameis has all the hype sauce, which is weird. Mariota's 28, so Mariota did not make this list. He's too old. I put him down here.
And Mariota would be closer to bust than anything else.
Yeah. I'll put Mariota an NFL quarterback. Jameis Winston, he has all the talent. He just he got hurt this year, so which is not fair to him that he didn't get a chance to prove that he can cut down on the turnovers. But I think if he's healthy and he really has fixed the turnover problem, he'll be at least a star, maybe even a superstar. He's got the talent. We forget he threw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns on that Tampa Bay team. The problem is he also threw for 30 interceptions.
No, he's one of the most frustrating quarterbacks of the last generation.
Yeah,
last 10 years, he's one of those quarterbacks.
He can throw for the most yards and the most touchdowns in the season, but he will also throw for the most interceptions. So, and to be fair to him also, that was in that Bruce Arians risk it or no biscuit offense. Ben Roethlisberger's numbers were like that too when he was our offensive coordinator. Like that's just the type of offense you run where it's just like throw it up.
And he got LASIK eye surgery, did he not?
Yeah, he did.
He's had eye surgery, and on the Saints, to his credit, it seems like he's matured a little. It seems like he's way more hungrier, no pun intended, because he's always hungry for that W that he's ever, really wanted. Good for him, because I'm happy that this year at least the Saints looked more dangerous when he was their quarterback. Yeah, you had people bringing up maybe he should have been starting last year.
Honestly, if the Saints don't bring him back, which I think they will, I would love for the Steelers to bring him in. I think, again, if he's on a team where it's a structured offense, you're asking him not to be just a complete gunslinger, you won't get as many explosive plays, but he'll be a good quarterback. I really think he'll be a good quarterback. So that's
only got one left. About time to wrap it up.
I'm just he's same as Justin Fields to me. Right now, he looks like a complete bust.
He looks like a bust. Okay, good. You said it first. I thought you're gonna make me the Jets hater on this.
No. Right now he looks like a complete bust. But if we're gonna be fair,
he looks bad. And when I was talking about people with family members that just want to be social media influencers, he is included in that. And if you don't know, consider yourself lucky. But he seems like he's everything we talked about football racism on the complete other side when it comes to just hype. because Trevor Lawrence is good and there was hype surrounding him, and it just comes with the fucking media storm. Same with Justin Fields, became victim of the NFL racism, comes with the media storm. Deshaun Watson, we said it. Joe Burrow avoided it because of the old stereotypes that they just overlook. Daniel Jones is mobile. Dwayne Haskins isn't. People don't know it. NFL racism. Zach Wilson looks like he's supposed to be a quarterback. He looks like the jock high schooler that was always the guy at high school. He looks like what we picture a quarterback looking like. And I remember hearing so much of that a few months ago in real time because it was this year's draft. And okay, so he looked better than Justin Fields when you watched all those tapes of BYU? Really? He was that much better than Justin Fields? Because I remember asking my friends that.
The arm talent. He makes throws that remind you of these two guys or these three guys.
No, that's my point. I heard it reminds people of that. I watched the highlights. I'm not saying the dude doesn't have college highlights, but college highlights make every cornerback look like Deion Sanders and every linebacker look like Lawrence Taylor. So everybody coming into the draft have 6 mixtapes of their highlights. Zach Wilson's no exception. But I was told he could make the reads. I was told, look at all these decisions he's making. And there hasn't been a moment in his professional career so far where it looks like he has any of that. The first couple of games where he faced pressure, regular pressure, not, oh my God, this is insane pressure.
He had a great offensive line. He had like 5, 6, 7 seconds. So yeah, I can make reads if I know I got
exactly.
Okay. First option, second option, third option. Let me go back to my first option. Oh, no, that's still not open. Second option.
And he benefited because it was all hype. Like, don't get me wrong, kid could turn it around in the next couple of games, and next year we're like, holy shit, he was everything that they said he was going to be. As of right now, it looks like he was all the hype. Mitch Trubisky levels of hype.
He made a throw in preseason that everybody raved, and he made a throw in like week 4 that everybody raved. Any other time he's looked like a complete bust.
Trash.
I'm putting him in the bust here only because he's on the Jets. Sorry. We know that they are notorious for ruining quarterbacks as Sam Darnold. I don't care what anybody says, he doesn't even have the potential Sam Darnold had.
He doesn't look as good as Sam Darnold looked on the Jets.
Yeah, I said it in the draft. They did more for Zach Wilson in the 3 days in that draft than they did for Sam Darnold in the 3 years he was there, and he still looks like trash.
No, he looks worse than Sam Darnold ever looked. Once again, I've said it ever since you met me. Haven't I said this? I want the Jets to be good because that means at least I know there's at least one more local team I can watch that will produce entertaining, good football for me. I love the Rex Ryan era for that reason. So I was listening to all this hype because I didn't really care. It wasn't my team. Keep Sam Darnold or draft this new guy. I was not that emotionally invested in it. And so they chose the new guy. This new guy looks like garbage. Hot garbage. Top tier garbage. Garbage. So that's it. We done ranked them. So under 27, obviously the GOATs. The top 5. Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, Josh Allen, and will be named later Deshaun Watson. Could be convict Deshaun Watson. Could be innocent man Deshaun Watson. At the time of recording, we don't know.
The serial spoiler.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson.
I need 57 masseuses. And then in the superstar tier, we got Kyler Murray. And who should be higher? Lamar Jackson.
No, he should not. He's in by a braid.
Okay.
No, he's not.
The lone person at the star tier, surprisingly, and it's mostly based off what we believe his potential to be. Okay, you're adding Jameis to the star. Fine, let's do it.
Yeah, man, come on.
Jalen Hurts and Jameis Winston are on the star tier. Yeah, okay. The starter tier, which I feel like most people are going to be pissed at the star and starter tier for us, is Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, and Tua, which solid starter tier. I feel like, if you're a Dolphins fan, you think we're doing them wrong, let us know, because you guys are the Dolphins fans. I actually am very interested in. Same with the Jags fans, because you guys will be watching more games than we are, just as fans. So I'll recognize your bias of positivity, but then again, people think I'm a over positive Giants fan, and I put Daniel Jones at bust without no hesitation, unlike Brett, who's a well-beloved Giants hater. So Lord knows what people actually think about their own teams right now. And then at the NFL QB position, which isn't bust, and it isn't even necessarily a hit. It means you're good enough to be in the league. We just don't know how you're going to pan out going forward. Justin Fields and the number 1 overall pick a couple of years ago, Baker Mayfield. One of these days, me and you are going to have to dissect Baker Mayfield because from potential to floor, every opinion is in between on this dude. If you're a casual fan, there's not a more confusing person to try to read about.
True.
Like, and okay, yeah, bust. Let me mention the bust. I got Danny Dimes, Drew Locke, Dwayne Haskins,
all in the same draft, by the way. All in the same draft.
Yeah. Jordan Love, Sam Darnold, Mitch Trubisky, and Zach Wilson. Sorry, Jets fans, but most of you, the ones that aren't completely blinded by hope like you were with Sam Darnold, I feel like you're going to agree with because there's no way you're watching Zach Wilson and you think obviously he's going to get better. You hope he will get better because he's just a rookie, but there's no way you're watching that and you like anything you've seen. Dude looked like he was about to cry a couple weeks ago.
I knew he was going to be a bust when that picture of him at the draft and he looked so uncomfortable around like other black dudes. That's when I knew. I was like, oh yeah, this guy. You want this guy in New York? He went to BYU. This is not going to end well. So,
Amen. Tell them where they can find you, bro.
You can find me at Never for Brett Me. That's NEVA _ the number 4 BRETT _ ME on Instagram and Twitter.
I'm at Not the Chuck D on all the socials. We're at the _dope-log on Instagram, the dope-log, all one word, on Twitter at www.thedope.blog to find all of our stuff. Catch the pods on all the Spotify's and Apples and Podbeans and wherever. I saw that. And we've got to start doing more of these tier lists because I feel like me and you are nerds enough.
We should honestly do an MCU tier list.
Okay.
We should honestly do that. There's one, I know there's templates for it already. We're going to discuss Spider-Man and Hawkeye and all that stuff. We should do some more stuff for our nerd fans.
Oh, no, for our nerd fans, aka also just for us, because me and you would do that for fun one afternoon. But bet that probably be one of the next things we record is the MCU tier list because me and him are just going to start talking about it and go, fuck it. Might as well record it.
And if you're on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, and join us next time as we can continue to discuss other people's excellence. Goats, living goats, right here, 2 of them.
There's a dime in the dustbin,
and these 2 could be there one day. I truly believe.
Oh my God! Okay, sign off.